that tingling and that burning in your feet? Is it your diabetes? Is it a pinched nerve? Is it just stress? The not knowing is often the hardest part. What if I told you that there are only three main categories of causes for these feelings? Today, we are not just giving you a long list of scary diseases. We are giving you a doctor's guide to the three root causes of neuropathy. Welcome back to Healthier Daily, the channel where we give you the simple science-backed truths to live a stronger and more independent life after 60. I'm your host, Dr. Ben Carter, and to be our wise master diagnostician in this very important investigation, we are joined by a physician who has spent his life teaching the wisdom of looking for the simple root cause of our most common health problems. It is our great honor to welcome Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara.
Thank you for having me, Ben. A wise doctor does not chase every single leaf that is blowing in the wind. He looks to the root of the tree. For the problem of nerve pain, there are three main and very important roots. We must find the right one to be able to bring true healing. This is so very important. I had a patient, a wonderful man, who came to me with a very unexplained and a very frightening tingling and numbness that was in his feet. He was very lost, and he was very scared because he did not know the cause. His healing journey began not with a treatment, but with a simple and a very logical investigation.
And that is exactly what our guide is all about today. Dr. Hinohara is going to walk us through his beautiful and very logical diagnostic journey so that you can have a more intelligent and a more empowered conversation with your own doctor. In our journey today, we will learn about root cause category number 1, the metabolic fire. We will then learn about root cause category number 2, the physical pinch. And finally, we will discover root cause category number 3, the external invaders. It is a true blessing to have this kind of knowledge to be able to approach our health, not with a sense of fear, but with a sense of clarity and with a blessed and a very logical mind. If you are ready to start this new day with a clear and a very calming way to understand your body, please type the number 1 in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to our channel. It's completely free, and you will not want to miss a single step of this important investigation. Okay, doctor, let's begin our diagnostic journey. For our viewers at home who are starting their day with this new sense of hope and of clarity, you said that there are three main roots to this very common problem. What is the first and the most common category of causes that we must investigate? What is root cause? Category number 1, the metabolic fire. Period.
Yes, our first and most important category of causes is what I like to call the metabolic fire. This is when the tingling and the numbness is not coming from a simple problem in your back or in your foot, but it is coming from a fire that is burning deep inside of your body's own beautiful and complex systems. It is an internal problem, and for my patient, the gentleman who is so very lost and so very frightened, this was the very first and the most important area that his doctor needed to investigate. Before we could look at anything else, we had to make sure that his internal house was not on fire.
So let's investigate the first and the most common cause of this metabolic fire. And that is, of course, diabetic neuropathy.
That is correct. Uncontrolled and high blood sugar is the greatest and most powerful enemy of our very delicate nerves.
And the science of this is so very clear and so very important for our viewers to understand. As the source text for our video today so wisely notes, when your blood sugar stays high for a very long period of time, it creates a state of what scientists now call glucose toxicity. This excess sugar that is in your blood is a direct and a very slow-acting poison to your delicate nerve endings. It damages them in two very powerful and very distinct ways. First, it triggers a great deal of oxidative stress and inflammation directly in the nerve cells themselves, which can cause them to begin to malfunction. But second, and just as importantly, it also damages all of the tiny and very delicate blood vessels that are responsible for bringing the precious oxygen and all of the important nutrients to your nerves. So for our viewers at home, you can think of it in this very simple way. The excess sugar is not only poisoning the nerve itself, but at the very same time, it is also cutting off its essential supply of food and of air. And this is what causes the beautiful and delicate nerve to slowly begin to shrivel and to die over time. So diabetes is the #1 cause of this very dangerous metabolic fire, a truly devastating condition. Now, doctor, what is the second and the often very sneaky cause of this metabolic fire that we must investigate?
Our second cause is one that is very, very sneaky because its symptoms can often be mistaken for so many other things. It is a simple deficiency in the very important vitamin B12. And for our patient, the gentleman who was so lost, this was another very important part of our investigation. He had been feeling not just the tingling in his feet, but also a great deal of fatigue and some brain fog. And these were very important clues that pointed us towards a possible and a very serious B12 deficiency.
And this is such a critical and an often missed diagnosis in our seniors. Let's look at the deep science of why vitamin B12 is so incredibly important for the health of our nerves. The most important job of vitamin B12 in our entire body is to help our body to be able to build and to maintain the beautiful and the very healthy myelin sheath. For our viewers at home, you can think of the myelin sheath as being like the protective rubber insulation that is wrapped around an electrical wire. It is this beautiful and very important insulation that allows the electrical signal to be able to travel very quickly and very clearly from your brain all the way down to your feet. When you are deficient in this precious vitamin B12, this beautiful insulation begins to break down and to decay. The wires become exposed, the signals can begin to short circuit. And this is exactly what causes all of those strange and very frightening sensations, like the burning, the tingling, and the zapping electric shock feelings in the feet. So a B12 deficiency is like having frayed and damaged wiring in our body. Doctor, why are so many of our seniors specifically at risk for this very dangerous deficiency?
It is for two main and very important reasons. First, to be able to absorb the beautiful vitamin B12 from our food, we must have a very strong stomach acid. And as we get older, our body's own natural production of this important stomach acid can begin to decline. And second, many of the very common medications that our seniors are taking every single day, like the acid-blocking medications for heartburn or the very common diabetes drug metformin, can also interfere with our body's ability to be able to absorb this precious vitamin from our food.
It is a truly blessed and a very profound wisdom to be able to understand these intricate and beautiful systems that are working inside of our bodies so that we can give them the proper and the blessed support that they so desperately need to be able to stay healthy. So our investigation into the metabolic fire has now shown us that uncontrolled blood sugar from diabetes and a simple but very dangerous vitamin B12 deficiency are two of the most common root causes of this terrible nerve pain. These are absolutely critical clues for our viewers to be aware of. But doctor, I know that there are other more complex causes of this internal fire that can be burning in our bodies. As our viewers are thinking about their health this evening, what is the third cause of the metabolic fire that we must investigate?
Yes, our third potential cause is a problem with the master regulator of our body's entire metabolism. It is a severe thyroid dysfunction.
And this is such an important and an often overlooked connection. Let's look at the beautiful science of this. Your beautiful thyroid gland, as you so wisely said, is the master regulator of your body's entire metabolism or its energy production. And the constant and the very beautiful work of repairing all of the delicate nerves in your body requires a great deal of cellular energy. As the source text for our video today, so wisely notes when you have a very severe form of an underactive thyroid, which is a condition that is called hypothyroidism, your entire metabolism can slow down to a crawl. This means that your body's own natural nerve repair systems also begin to slow down. You can think of it as the construction crew that is supposed to be repairing your nerves now moving in very slow motion. And this can cause the beautiful and protective myelin sheath to become damaged over time, which is what leads to that terrible and frustrating feeling of tingling and of numbness. So, a slow metabolism from a thyroid problem can directly harm our nerves. It is a very important clue. Now, doctor, what is the fourth and the final cause of this metabolic fire? I know this one is a sad case of mistaken identity.
Yes, our final and most complex cause is what we call an autoimmune condition. And this is when the body's own beautiful and protective immune system becomes very confused, and it makes a terrible and a very sad mistake. It begins to attack its own healthy and precious tissues. And for our patient, the gentleman who was so very frightened about his symptoms, this was another very serious possibility that we had to investigate. We had to make sure that his own beautiful immune system was not the cause of his problem.
And this is such a complex and a very frightening group of conditions for so many people. Let's look at the science of the most famous one that affects our nerves, which is, of course, multiple sclerosis, or MS. In the very sad case of MS, the immune system mistakenly identifies the beautiful and the very protective myelin sheath that is around our nerves as a dangerous foreign invader, and it begins to attack it and to destroy it. And this is what causes the frayed wiring that we talked about earlier. And this can lead to all of the very difficult and painful symptoms of neuropathy. And as the source text so wisely notes, we are now learning from modern science that there is a very deep and a very powerful connection between the health of our gut and the health of our immune system. An imbalanced and an unhealthy gut can be a major and a very powerful trigger for many of these autoimmune conditions.
And so for our patient, the man who was so very lost and so very frightened, his wonderful doctor ran all of the necessary and important blood tests. And after a few days, we received the wonderful and the very beautiful news. His blood sugar was perfect. His vitamin B12 levels were normal. His beautiful thyroid gland was healthy. And he had no signs of an autoimmune condition. The metabolic fire was not the cause of his problem. He was very, very relieved, and our investigation could now move on to the next possible cause.
It is a truly blessed and a wonderful thing to be able to use the beautiful and the intelligent tools of modern science to be able to find a sense of clarity and of deep peace when we are feeling so very afraid about our health. And we love sharing this kind of holistic and hopeful wisdom with our global community. To help us see our global community, please let us know what city, state, or country you are watching from. We love hearing from all of you. So our patient's blood tests have now come back clear. There is no metabolic fire that is burning inside of his body. And this is truly wonderful and very hopeful news. So doctor, where did your investigation lead you next? What is the second major root cause category that we must now investigate?
Yes. Once we have ruled out a problem that is coming from inside the beautiful system of the body, we must then look for a problem that is coming from the outside. Our second root cause category is what I like to call the physical pinch. This is when the tingling and the numbness is caused by a simple and a very common mechanical compression of the nerve.
And this is such a common and an often overlooked cause of these symptoms. Let's look at the beautiful science of this physical pinch. Your beautiful nerves travel from your brain down your spinal cord, and then they exit through very small and delicate spaces that are between your vertebrae. And from there, they travel all the way down to your feet. But if something begins to physically pinch or to compress that nerve at its very root, right where it is exiting the spine, it can cause symptoms to appear far, far away at the very end of the line in your feet. And as the source text for our video so wisely notes, two of the most common causes of this physical pinch are a herniated disc, which is where the soft and beautiful cushion between your vertebrae begins to bulge out, or a condition that is called spinal stenosis, which is a simple narrowing of the spinal canal itself.
And for our patient, the gentleman who felt so very lost, this was our next and most important clue to investigate. When I asked him, he did mention that he sometimes had a very mild and a very dull ache in his lower back. And this was an important clue.
So a simple back problem can be the true root cause of a very frustrating foot problem. It is a brilliant and a very important connection. Now, doctor, what if the problem is not a metabolic fire and it is not a physical pinch? What is our third and final root cause category in our investigation?
If the problem is not coming from inside the body's beautiful systems, and it is not a physical problem with the body structure, then we must look at what we are bringing into the body from the outside. This is our final and very important category, the external invaders.
And the source text for our video today lists three of the most common of these external invaders. And the first one is, of course, chronic alcohol use.
Yes, as we have discussed before on this channel, an excess of alcohol is a direct neurotoxin. It is a poison to our very delicate nerves. And it also robs the body of all of the precious B vitamins that are needed for our nerve repair.
And the second invader is a very specific one that affects so many of our brave cancer survivors. It is chemotherapy.
That is correct. While these drugs are absolutely life-saving and they are very necessary, we must also be honest, and we must acknowledge that for some people, they can be very damaging to the peripheral nerves. And this is something that a person must always discuss with their oncologist.
And the final invader is one that affects so many of us in our modern and very busy world. It is chronic stress.
Yes, as the source text so wisely says, when our body is in a constant state of fight or flight, it very intelligently reroutes the blood flow away from our hands and our feet, and it directs it towards our vital organs for survival. And this lack of blood flow can lead to that very common feeling of tingling and of numbness. A calm and a very peaceful mind is absolutely essential for a calm and a peaceful nervous system.
So that completes our full and our very thorough three-part diagnostic journey. Now, doctor, let's go back one final time and let's officially close the case file on your patient, the man who was so very lost and so very afraid at the beginning of our story.
This was the beautiful and the very hopeful conclusion to his healing story. After we had successfully ruled out the metabolic fire with his blood tests, we then began to investigate the physical pinch. His doctor ordered a simple MRI of his lower back, and the beautiful picture from the machine showed us the answer very clearly. Our patient had a very mild herniated disc in his lower back, and it was gently and consistently pressing on the nerve root that was leading all the way down to his foot. He did not have an incurable and a very scary nerve disease. He had a simple and a very common mechanical problem. By working with a wonderful and a very skilled physical therapist on some gentle core strengthening and some simple posture exercises, the pressure was gently taken off of the nerve. And after just a few weeks of this consistent and gentle work, the tingling in his foot finally began to fade away. The mystery was solved, and his great fear was replaced with a great and a very beautiful sense of hope.
That is a truly beautiful and a blessed story. It is a powerful reminder that when we approach our health problems with a calm and a logical mind, instead of with a sense of fear, we can so often find a simple and a very hopeful path to our own healing. Doctor, this has been an incredible and a truly illuminating investigation. You have taken the frightening and very confusing problem of chronic nerve pain, and you have given our viewers a clear, a calm, and a very logical map to be able to understand it. Your 3 root causes protocol is a revolutionary new way for us to think about our senior health, moving us from a state of fear to a state of empowered investigation. We have learned how to look for the clues of a metabolic fire, a physical pinch, and the external invaders. By understanding these categories, our viewers can now stop feeling like a victim of their chronic nerve pain, and they can start to have a much more intelligent and a much more productive conversation with their own doctors. This important knowledge is a true cornerstone of a proactive senior health strategy. It is a practical and a very powerful way to find a real path away from the daily misery of chronic nerve pain and to live a more comfortable and a more confident life. Now, Doctor, your 3 root causes protocol is a life-changing way of thinking. For our viewers at home who are inspired to start their own diagnostic journey tonight, what is the most important and the wisest first step that they can take this week?
That is the most important question of all. The journey to an answer must always begin with one single gentle step. I will give you a simple 3-part action plan for your first investigation. First, for the next few days, your only job is to be a curious and a very gentle detective. This is your gentle audit. I want you to get a small notebook and a pen and place it by your favorite chair. Every time you feel the tingling or the burning, I want you to write down 2 simple things: the time of day and the exact location in your hands or your feet. Is it worse in the morning? Is it worse at night? Is it in all of your toes or just one? You are simply and gently gathering all of the important clues with no judgment at all. Second, you will expand your investigation. I want you to look at your daily life. Make a list of all of the medications that you're taking, and you can ask your pharmacist if nerve-related symptoms are a common side effect. Look at your diet. Are you eating a lot of the external invaders that we have discussed? Do you have other symptoms like fatigue or brain fog that might point towards a metabolic fire? You are building your case file. And third, and this is the most important step of all, you must schedule the conversation. The final and most important step is to make an appointment with your trusted doctor. But now you will not go to them with a feeling of fear or of confusion. You will go to them as a wise and an informed partner in your own health. You will bring your beautiful notebook full of clues, and you will say, "Doctor, I have been investigating my nerve pain, and here is the important evidence that I have found." This is how the beautiful and collaborative process of finding the true answer begins.
That is a perfect and a very empowering action plan.
I want to leave you with this one final thought. The tingling in your hands and in your feet can be a very frightening thing. It is a strange feeling, and it is a feeling that can make you feel very disconnected from your own body. And when we are afraid, it is very easy for our minds to imagine the worst possible cause. But I encourage you with all of my heart not to see this feeling as a threat. You must learn to see it as a beautiful message. It is a quiet and a very gentle whisper from your body. And it is a whisper that is simply and lovingly asking for your help and for your gentle attention. You must not be frightened by this beautiful message from your body. You must become curious. This is the true and the most beautiful path to all healing. It is a path of curiosity, of partnership, and of great and beautiful hope. So do not be discouraged. The answer to your problem is almost always found in a calm and a very logical investigation. I encourage you to begin your beautiful investigation today.
That is a beautiful and a very empowering message, Doctor. Thank you for sharing your incredible and hopeful wisdom with us today. And for all of you who are watching at home, if you found this guide empowering and it gave you a new and a more hopeful way to think about your health, please give this video a like. Your like tells the YouTube algorithm that this is important information and it can help to bring this message of hope and of clarity to another person who is sitting in fear and in confusion right now, just like you may have been. And be sure to share it with a friend or a family member who you know is struggling with these confusing symptoms. If you have not already, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. It is completely free, and by subscribing, you are joining a beautiful and a very supportive community of people who are all on a journey to build a stronger and a more independent life after 60. We would be so very honored to have you with us on this journey. And for our community discussion today, we would love to know which of these three root cause categories, the metabolic fire, the physical pinch, or the external invaders, was the most surprising or eye-opening for you. Please share what you have learned in the comments below. And finally, it is absolutely essential that you speak with your personal doctor or a neurologist to get a proper diagnosis for your nerve pain. Please do not try to self-diagnose serious conditions based on this video. Our conversation today is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for the direct medical advice from your own trusted physician. Thank you for being with us. Be well.